GetGlue is the leader in social TV. We have about 6 million unique users a month coming to the site, and we've collected about 800 million data points on our users. And we've also partnered up with basically every major television network and movie studio in the United States around enabling users to be more social around television shows and movies. The central premise of GetGlue is to enable people to come and use their social network or other social tools to discover new content to watch, check into the shows that they're watching, share those check-ins with their friends, family, and other acquaintances on GetGlue, on Facebook, on Twitter, and then get more engaged with the content through a variety of chat rooms for every shows, through all of the multimedia that we work with our studio partners to collect, so that they can really get more immersed in the content that they are fans of. And then we also work with all of our studio partners to create rewards for the content. One of the most basic rewards that you do, that you get, as you can see on the back of my computer, are stickers. Whenever you check into a TV show or movie, you earn a sticker for that show or for that movie. And people really, really love the stickers. It's surprising how much people love the stickers sometimes. But the core premise of GetGlue is really about enabling people to check into the content, because that is sort of the cornerstone of the company. And 50 to 60% of all of our check-ins get shared out to another social network, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, etc., which is really evidence of the fact that people love to share with other people what they're watching. Television and movies are inherently social activities. People don't go to the movies alone. People want to talk about the TV shows they're watching, and we're a tool that enables people to be more social about that. Now I want to speak a little bit about the US TV business in general. There's a number of key players in the US business. I'm going to bundle them up into different groups as I talk about them. The first player are the networks, and that is the big TV networks like ESPN, like ABC, like CBS. And they remain the key powers in the industry. Content is still king. No matter what anybody else says, that's what drives the business, is the content. And they are the most powerful forces in the industry. And in the US, they're the ones that are one of the key drivers behind what we call the bundle, where all of the content gets bundled together as part of a big service provider package, similar to when you're subscribing to Sky here in Germany. And they love the bundle, in large part because most of the networks own a family of channels. They don't just own one channel. And so ABC is a great example, or Disney, which owns ABC, is a great example of they own approximately 20 different channels that they negotiate with the various service providers to bring to people's homes. And while they've got some really big, important chips in their family, like ESPN, which no cable operator can live without, they also have some smaller channels, like the badminton channel or the bowling channel, or things that people may not care all that much about, that it really is a niche channel, but they bundle it all together and say, you can't get ESPN unless you pay for all the rest. And this is something that they're going to continue to push for and advocate for, and as a result, it's going to make disruption in the industry and cord cutting extremely painful. The next key player in the US is what I call the MVPDs, multi-channel video programming distributors. This is the cable companies, the satellite companies, etc. It's the people that bring your bundle of channels into the home. And they are the next biggest power source in the US when it comes to the industry, and they're evolving. There's a lot of talk of cord cutting. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. You've heard some of it before, and you're going to continue to hear about it. In the US, it's not happening at any scale yet, and I don't predict it's going to happen at any scale in the next 3 to 5 years. It is going to continue to become more relevant, and as the younger generation grows up, we're going to see if it becomes even more relevant, because they've gotten used to life without cords. But in the immediate future, it's just not a reality. And one of the reasons is the fact that the MVPDs don't just sell you your TV services. In most cases, they sell you your TV and your internet. Roughly 90% of US homes get their TV and internet from the same provider. And at the end of the day, the Comcast doesn't care if they're selling you TV and internet. They just care how much money they're getting from you. And their focus is on continuing to get their $100 a month from you and trying to grow that by 5 to 10% every year. And if they do that by selling you TV and internet, great. If they do that by just selling you internet, that's ultimately going to be fine by them too. And they're going to be able to prevent cord cutting because they are the gatekeeper to those two services for you. And so what they'll be able to do is bundle them together like nobody else can to say, as long as you get both from us, we'll give you unlimited data. And there won't be any caps on the amount of bandwidth that you have. However, if you just want internet from us, we're going to charge you a lot more, and we're probably going to have bandwidth caps on you, basically to make it painful for you to cut the cord and just get data. Similarly, they recognize that these services like Netflix, Hulu, et cetera, are popular and are going to continue to be more popular. And they're either going to roll out their own similar service, or they're going to partner with those services and make them available to their customers as part of that bundle. And that's a trend that is being talked about a lot right now. We haven't seen much of it yet, but I predict you're going to be seeing more and more of. The third key player are the premium networks. So these are a little bit different than the other networks that I was talking about. These networks like HBO and Showtime charge a monthly subscription fee that's over and above the bundle that you get. They're not bundled. They're sold a la carte. And you pay anywhere from $10 to $20 a month for these services. And there's been talk of them going direct to consumer as well. But I don't see that happening in the immediate future for two very big reasons. The first being that they get a lot of money from the MVPDs. They get 95+% of their revenues from there. And the minute HBO offers a direct-to-consumer offering, Comcast is going to call them up and say, we need to renegotiate our terms, or you're just not that important to us. And it's going to be a big, big problem for them. Also related to that is these companies are all part of larger conglomerates that do business with Comcast as well. HBO is owned by Time Warner, which Time Warner owns a cable company. Time Warner owns a sports channel. Time Warner owns other channels. And it'll hurt their negotiating position as part of the bundle if they just go and break that mold. Secondly is the fact that it's very expensive to go direct. And these premium channels have it easy today by being bundled in and letting the cable company manage the billing, the customer service, payment processing, fraud, all of these things. And it's a much different and more expensive proposition to go direct. And so I don't see that happening in the immediate future. The fourth major player are the OTT services. This is Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, Amazon. They're going to evolve to be more like HBO much more quickly than HBO is going to evolve to be like them. I envision Netflix working to try and get bundled in with a Comcast or a DirecTV and be part of your cable offering or your satellite offering long before some of these other companies go direct. And so we're gonna start seeing that. We're also seeing that the subscription services are the winners. It's very difficult and challenging to have a successful over-the-top business on a transactional basis. People in the US have spoken that they don't want to pay by the movie anymore. They're much more comfortable paying $10 or $20 a month for a subscription of unlimited, all-you-can-eat access to the content, as opposed to paying one by one. Even though statistically, it often shows that they would be better off economically if they went and bought it a la carte, because a lot of people who have Netflix don't use it enough to get their $10 a month value out of it. But doesn't matter. People like the subscription. The fifth category are the smart TVs. A lot of talk about smart TVs over recent years. The fact is, in the US, nobody is using them. In large part, it's because there's a battle for the remote control. With so many people in the US being cable or MVPD subscribers, that is the primary remote control in their home, in their hand, and on their table, and they don't think to pull out the smart TV remote control. Also, these devices get antiquated pretty quickly. It's very difficult to refresh the technology on these smart TVs, and the fact is that they're seeing low connection rates, lower usage rates, and the manufacturers are going to continue to push this because they need to be pushing more functionality, more tools, more bells and whistles to try and get you to buy the new TV. But most people when they're in the store, they get excited about all these new features and all this great stuff. They get it home, they put it on the wall, then they grab their other remote control and they never use those features again. And we see that trend continuing. The sixth major player is the OTT providers. And this is the set-top boxes like Apple TV, Roku, Google TV, Aereo. My experience says dedicated set-top boxes do not have a chance to succeed. Many years ago, I worked at TiVo. I was back there in 2001 to 2003. TiVo is arguably the most revolutionary television product of our generation. It has failed as a set-top box company, though. They have had to pivot into being a service that's available through other boxes. And I predict that we're going to continue to see these services evolve into that, and many of them are going to either get bought by the MVPDs or by the smart TV manufacturers and just get embedded into their experiences, or they're going to have to come up with something special about them that makes them a must-have item. If you're just bringing over-the-top content to the TV, you're going to fail because that type of functionality is going to be available in people's set-top boxes through that they're getting from their MVPDs or directly through their TV. You have to do something really interesting. Xbox is a great example of that because it offers gaming, but then it also offers all of this additional functionality. So you don't buy it for just the one thing, and that's one of the reasons it, in particular, has had some success, and I predict it's going to continue to have more success. But most interestingly, when you look at Xbox's content strategy, they're partnering up with the MVPDs to offer those services through the Xbox. And we're going to continue to see more of that because in today's world, Comcast pays a lot of money to install their set-top box in consumers' homes. They pay hundreds of dollars, and it takes them anywhere from 3 to 5 years to break even on a customer, partly because of the cost of installing the box and lighting up the service. If they can shift all of that cost onto the consumer, who then goes to the store and buys their Xbox and lights up the Comcast service through the box, it's a tremendous savings to them, and one of the ways that I see the industry evolving and the way the MVPDs can work collaboratively with companies like Xbox. And we'll see what happens with Google TV or Apple TV as well, but I see that continuing to emerge. And then finally is social TV, and this is the space that I'm in, of course, and this is where GetGlue, Facebook, Twitter all come in. And I'm going to speak a little bit about what people are actually doing when they're watching TV, as opposed to where they're watching TV. I'm going to ask rhetorically, what percentage of viewers watch live TV? So take a second to think about how much TV is watched as live versus time shifted. The answer is shockingly high. It's 89% of all television in 2011 was linear viewing, meaning it was viewed within 5 minutes of when it actually aired, meaning there's not that much time shifting happening yet. And we don't see it drastically changing either. By 2015, we expect only 16% of US and 12% of UK viewing to be nonlinear. Marcus just before me already spoke to this, so I'm going to run by it, but we watch a lot of TV. That's the short answer. In the US, we watch over 4 hours a day. Here in Germany, a little bit less than that. That's just something that's not going to change. What's interesting here is where and when we are social. It changes throughout the day. When people first wake up, increasingly so, approximately 78% of people under the age of 18 to 34, the first thing they do when they wake up in the morning is grab their phone and go check their email, go check the news, go check Facebook, whatever it is. And so you could see that the day starts out with people on their phone. As you get into the regular working hours, not surprisingly, the PCs dominate the consumption because people tend to be at a desk. And then when you get into the evening, people shift into tablet usage. And that's where that dominates, despite the fact that tablets have a much lower penetration rate than PC or mobile. So why is social TV going to be a big deal? The more tech we have, the more social we get. 2/3 of every tablet owner used their tablet while watching TV in the past week, and 1/3 of them have posted about the show that they are watching. So what this means is that they're using their devices to engage with the content. They may not be engaging in a second screen application that's tied to the content, but whether they're on Facebook or in email or in other sorts of chats, they're using their devices to engage with the content. About half of people post on social media while watching TV do so because they want to connect with other people. As we've become more isolated in society and working from home and not seeing people as much, our focus groups have shown that people want to be able to connect around the shows. TV remains an inherently social activity. 27% of people are starting to watch more live TV. And so we're starting to see some of the shifting going because they want to be engaged in the social community and to avoid spoilers. Every single person that has been surveyed says they leverage content to build connections, and that's in social settings, in work settings. It's the water cooler. It's using TV and movies as a connector when you're trying to create some sort of dialogue among people. And we like to talk about it. Nearly 25% of 18 to 34-year-olds use social media on a regular basis to talk about what they like and dislike about storylines while they're watching it, meaning just experiencing it on both screens at the same time. And we care what our friends think. 17% of consumers have started to watch a new show because they've discovered it through a social impression. And finally, size matters. One of the interesting things that we found when we were doing some studies is that the bigger the device, the more public it is. Meaning, your TV, when someone comes into your home, you don't mind them grabbing your remote control and changing your TV channels. But the smaller the device gets, the more personal it is. Meaning, if someone comes into your home and asks to see your cell phone, are you going to give them to them? No. You're going to be like, why do you want my phone? People freak out sometimes when people grab their phones. And that's important because 91% of people under the age of 60 use text as their primary social channel for their closest relationships these days. And think about it. People don't call as much as they used to. They don't see each other as much as they used to. Text is starting to dominate, and it's on that small device. Yet at the same time, 95% of people don't feel comfortable with Facebook or Twitter on the big screen. They worry about what that means. And again, it's that public versus private device. The smaller the device, the more honest you are, and the more safe you feel communicating on it. And so what this all means is when you're thinking about social, I think it's obvious that social matters. Everybody in the industry is focusing a tremendous amount on how to be more social. But one of the big problems that we've seen is most companies think of social in terms of a number of checkboxes. They think, am I doing something with Facebook? Yep. Am I doing something with Twitter? Yep. Am I doing a couple other things just so I can be social? That's not good enough. You've got to be social strategically. And you have to think about the fact that different programming needs different social strategies. Not everything is the same. Big reality shows or big news shows or big events are very different than scripted shows. We've done focus groups around how people behave and where they want to go post during the shows they watch. And when there's something really big, like an election or a big sporting event like the Super Bowl or the World Cup, they're going to go onto Twitter, they're going to go onto Facebook and shout to the world, this is what I'm watching, or I can't believe this happened. But when they're watching their shows on a weekly basis, they want to engage with them, but they don't want to necessarily go to a Twitter and shout to the world, you know, this is what happened on Breaking Bad, this is what happened on Mad Men. They want to engage with a community of people that care about it. And so you need to think about your content and what's going to resonate with viewers and how you're going to be social around that. Thank you.